Alright, hello everybody and welcome to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Today I'll be running all Waddle Dees at the start of this miniature Kirby block. This will be Forgotten Land followed by Epic Yarn, ran by Benny. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Before we start, I'm just going to disable online because we don't need that. I'll be running on Spring Breeze mode since it's the easier mode. You have more health and it allows you to do certain things you won't be able to do in Wild mode. And it's also faster because you don't get a special bonus at the end of each level. So you'll just be able to menu a bit quicker. Yeah, that's about it. So get started as soon as I hit A on this. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and right away, I'm going to be changing a bunch of controls. Mainly we'll be turning off auto swallow because that will be needed. We won't need auto swallow for a certain boss fight coming up later. And also just changing my control to type B, just because that's what I prefer. So as you'll see very quickly, the main source of movement in this game, when you don't have a copy ability, is just doing this slide kick into a jump. And this is basically just the fastest way of getting Kirby around on the ground. This won't last very long because we'll be using different abilities like Fire and Tornado. Tornado will come in handy much later on, but Fire will be the main thing early on. So I believe this was ran at the last pace event by King J. He did any %. I'll be doing all Waddle Dees, which, as the category suggests, I will be saving all 300 Waddle Dees in the game. And some of these are pretty easy, some are a bit more difficult, and some are very hard to do, mainly the end bosses for each world. Right now it's just a tutorial level. There's no Waddle Dees here. Right there you just saw a big downside of Spring Breeze mode. If you do a slide kick next to an enemy, it will home in on them, and to make the game a bit easier, Spring Breeze makes the homing a lot bigger, I guess, which could lead to some mistakes. So yeah, right here we have our first Mouthful ability, which is a brand new gimmick introduced in this game. We have the Car ability, I like to call him Kirby. Basic, just hold Y to dash and press B to jump. A lot of the Mouthful modes are not like super intuitive, but they do add some pretty neat stuff to the game that has never been done before in a Kirby game, as this is Kirby's first ever 3D outing. And as soon as I saw this game was coming out, I just saw 3D Kirby and I was like, okay, I need to speedrun this. Yeah, it had a lot of development in the time that I was away though. There was a period of time where I was not really running all Waddle Dees, but I did have the world record numerous times. I believe the record is in the sub 230 range by Mario Max. There are also strats that have been implemented that use 2-player, which is using the Bandana Waddle Dee partner. I will not be using those strats. This will be strictly just Kirby on his own. Right here we have our first battle. Just sucking all these guys. Spin them out at each other, and there we go. That's the first battle. And that is another move, the dodge roll, that is introduced in this game. If you do that just right, then the time will slow down and you'll be able to parry enemy attacks depending on what copy ability you have. And we just saved our little friend Elflin here. Did not mean to pause there. And here's Waddle Dee here to just tell us about 2-player. Won't be seeing him. Alright, now we're going to get our first real level where Waddle Dees will actually be saved. 1-1. Also pretty basic, but there is a neat little skip at the end of it. 2 variations of it. I'll go for the harder one first, and if I mess it up, then I'll just go for the easier variant. So the main extra Waddle Dee that we have to worry about in this is the 5 tulips, which some of them are really easy, like that one there. As you'll see, it'll update the counter as we go forward. But some of them are a bit more difficult to find. Like this one coming up right here, you have to hit the switch and then go all the way through this cave to find it. So yeah, the beginning of the run is going to be pretty basic stuff. I mean, just the grass world, not much crazy stuff going on here besides turning into a vending machine that can shoot soda cans at enemies. And their next extra Waddle Dee here is going to be breaking down this door. Don't actually have to go inside, you just have to break the shutter. Dodge this guy real quick. So coming up here, after we do a bit more slide kicking, we'll be seeing the cone Mouthful, which will allow us to basically just do a ground pound and break the floor. We'll be skipping that one just because we don't need it just yet. Dodge all these enemies here. Me coming up on the third tulip really quickly. Just gonna take this guy and spit him out. Yeah, the reason I turned off the auto swallow in the settings immediately is because of stuff like that where you need to spit an enemy out to make something faster. But as I said, it comes in handy the most in a future boss fight towards the end of World 3. There's our next extra Waddle Dee riding up the water there with the cone. We have another fight coming up here, our first mini boss actually. There's our first caged Waddle Dee. Okay, besides all the unique things you have to do to save Waddle Dees, there are just the ones that come in the cage. And there's usually about 3 extras per level that are just in the cages. It depends on how far you get in the game. You know, Wild Edge here, you have to wait for him to put up his shield so that you can hit him there. And we're not going to take the sword just yet, so we're just going to spit him out. There's our first extra Waddle Dee out of 3, saved from a cage. Next section is towards the end of the level where things will get pretty wild towards the end if I can nail the skip. But we'll actually be getting our first copy ability here. It'll be the cutter ability, which we won't use for very long. This mouthful is just very quick. You just spin the control stick and free the Waddle Dee. Or whatever else may be hidden inside the pot. Let's see, the next Waddle Dee will be inside that turtle guy that's blocked by that platform. Can't break it normally. But with cutter, we can come up here and chop this cone down, and then we drop cutter immediately. And with the cone ability, we can go up here and just smash him and free that Waddle Dee there. And as you'll see, right next to us is our second to last tulip. The next one will be up on the building as we climb towards the end. Yep, here it is, and this is the first, I guess it would be a glitch, more like an exploit. If you take damage as the cone mouth and jump at the right time, you can't get a mid-air jump. I'm going to go for it here by damage boosting off this guy. Okay, I didn't get it. I'm going to go for the safer method where I just let him hit me. Jump up here. Yeah, that skips walking all the way around him and then having to break the blue pipe and then ride all the way up and then smash him from up top. Slower version of the skip because the damage boost didn't work out, but still a pretty solid 1-1. Yeah, and if I was playing in wild mode, it would say you earn 50 extra coins, which loses very little time each time it happens, but it does add up very quickly. And yes, there will be a lot of downtime between levels, as you can see here. You have to watch the next level spawn, all the Waddle Dees go home to Waddle Dee Town, which we'll see much later towards the end of World 1. And then, not right now, but later on, we actually unlocked our figure collection, which we won't be collecting any figures. That's saved for 100%. But we will be seeing challenge roads open up later on, which also aren't really needed, but another thing for 100%. Anyways, going into 1-2 here, we get one of the most broken abilities for speedrunning, Fire, as Kirby standard. Fire is used in almost every Kirby speed game that it's in. And the Waddle Dees here involve lighting 4 lanterns. These are pretty easy. They're not like as hidden as the tulips are. Yeah, as you can see, the movement gets a lot faster now that we have Fire. Just basically do the slide kick jump into a double fire dash. Oh, I missed the switch. Here's our first cage Waddle Dee here. Yeah, there's a lot of these Waddle Dees that kind of combine into 2. Like you find a secret room and it counts as 1, and then that one also has a Waddle Dee in it. Yeah, in this next room here, there's going to be a cycle that I'm going to be trying to make. It is very tough because I do have to light the lanterns along the way, so if I miss it, it's not too big of a deal. Right. Doesn't, oh, might be making this one. Oh no. Ah, yeah, when you use the fire dash, your hitbox against Gordos for some reason just gets a lot bigger. So that's why I bonked on that guy and couldn't make the cycle. If we go up here and then just puff our way over here, we will land up on this ledge and then break that. Then we just unlock that Waddle Dee without having to go up and all the way across. Yeah, that's like the only really cycle-heavy part of this level. A neat thing to note about the Waddle Dees, this doesn't really matter too much. Each time, if you enter a loading zone after getting a Waddle Dee and the little thing in the corner hasn't gone away, it will take actually longer to load because it has to wait until that goes away before loading the next part of the level. So there are some parts that people have decided to just wait for it to go away if you're there long enough before you get to the door. I'm probably not going to do any of that just because it doesn't matter too much in the long run. As you can see, that loaded much faster because there was no Waddle Dee there. Now we're going outside the cave here. And we will be seeing the stairs that could be turned into a mouthful mode, but we're just going to be skipping that completely because there is a wanted poster right here after we light this fuse. And if I fire dash into that wanted poster, it will give me all my height back. And I can just puff right to the end and skip using the stairs completely. And if you enter a cannon and crouch before the fuse gets to you, it actually speeds up the fuse. That's a pretty classic thing in most Kirby games. Alright, well that's everything in 1-2. Just fire dash to the end here. Pretty standard stuff once you get all the cycles out of the way. I guess if we have any donations, you can read those off while the next level is loading up.
We unfortunately don't have any new ones, but these donations go to Urban Arts, and I would love to have more donations to read.
Alright, well 1-3, Rocky Rollin' Road. This is probably the most basic level out of everything in World 1, surprisingly, despite doing 2 pretty basic levels already. There is a bunch of boulders that roll down a hill, but those are pretty easy to dodge. Not really much going on here. Yeah, there's the Treasure Road. Basically, those all just require you to use a certain copy ability, or its evolved copy ability, which we'll see later on what copy abilities can do when they're evolved. You just have to complete a small little challenge. Nothing too crazy. There's an example of the dodge roll slowing down time so I can get past that purple hedgehog. And the main Waddle Dee of this level is collecting the three pieces of food off the tree stumps. They're all pretty much right in your way as you're going by. And we're actually going to see another ability here. Ranger. Kirby has a gun in this game. I know, it's crazy. And we're just going to use that real quick just to get this Waddle Dee, switch right back to fire. There's going to be a lot of ability switching in these levels because there are some that you absolutely need the gimmick ability to get it. And then we just switch right back to fire or tornado or whichever fast one we have. Another secret path there. You don't have to actually go up that ladder. As long as you unlock it, you can just go back. All right, here we're switching back to Ranger again. Okay. I mean, just go in here. This is a little mini game, just some target practice for Kirby. I'm gonna drop fire here, and then grab Ranger and shoot all the targets and get fire back before it runs out. Because if you drop an ability, it actually does run out if you wait too long. Do the full charge here. There we go. Get a Waddle Dee for that. And then as we exit out, the final food on the stump is actually a bit more hidden than the other two, but it's literally just a little light that tells you where it is. And then after we get this, we will have to do a bunch of running away from boulders, Indiana Jones style. But this is obviously made very easy by fire. Hit that switch there to unlock the next Waddle Dee. A lot of these Waddle Dees are kind of like the moons in Mario Odyssey, where they just kind of give them to you at sometimes, whereas some others are surprisingly cryptic in their locations. Here we get another car, and the final Waddle Dee that isn't kept in a cage is actually for not falling off the road. So I have to make sure not to do that because I will have to. That's the thing about all Waddle Dees is it is an extremely punishing category, especially when it comes to boss fights. Do a little corner cut here. Like, if I fell off the road here, I would have had to restart the entire level, basically, because you only get one shot at it. And if you did not get the special Waddle Dee, it just comes in a question mark. and then it just tells you, oh, you need to get this, and then redo the entire level. There it is. Just jump right onto that ledge there to free the Waddle Dees. Now the next level is definitely the most interesting part of World 1. We're going to be going to the mall, where a lot of really neat strats come into play. Namely the fire boost, which allows us to gain a bunch of height using the fire ability, which is not something you'd probably expect from a horizontal speedrunning type ability, but you can gain a lot of vertical height with this ability and the hammer, which we will see much later. That comes a long time from now. Walking more treasure roads here. Alright. Trip to Arrival Mall. There's actually a strat coming up right at the beginning where there's a special bomb switch that you have to hit that gives you a ladder to reach a higher level. But I'm going to skip doing that by just jumping off a chair and then doing 2 fire boosts, and it gives me just barely enough height to reach the top. Might take me a couple tries, but it shouldn't be too bad. This is one of the best songs in the game, by the way, by far. This game has an amazing soundtrack. This is probably just my favorite Kirby game overall, just every way. Alright, here comes the chair jump. You have to really mash B to get up there, but I think we got it first try. And now we can, this is a strat that is unlikely to actually happen, but here we're going to get this invincibility, and we have to move as fast as we possibly can because there's a frosty boss fight coming up at the end of these next couple sections. And if I keep invincibility long enough to get there, it will basically insta-KO him. Oh no, we probably just lost to Spring Breeze. Yep, Spring Breeze is homing in on all these enemies right now, so I'm probably not going to make it. But that is okay. The frosty boss fight shouldn't take too long. Since we have fire, fire actually does double damage to Frosty since it keeps him on fire as time goes on. So you can just light him ablaze and then spit stars back at him, which is actually probably the most efficient way to fight most bosses in this game. Yeah, the invincibility is already out before we even start the fight. We're just going to set him on fire here. And then once he runs into the wall, he's going to drop a bunch of stars. And that immediately puts him into his second phase. And we're basically just going to do the same exact thing. Wait for his giant snowball. And that's Frosty. And we're actually not going to be using him, because this is where the fire boost comes in. We're going to be getting fire back, even though we do need ice, technically, for this next Waddle Dee coming up. We're actually going to skip that entirely. Right at the end of all these conveyor belts here. So basically how the fire boost works is if you do a fire dash and then puff to the peak of your height and then do another fire dash and then breathe fire and then do a precise jump as you land, you'll actually get a lot of height, and that will allow us to gain enough height to pass these things that usually require ice to break. There it is, nice. Okay, need to get up there. Here's the next Waddle Dee. I've actually been collecting hidden donuts throughout the entire mall. That is the collectible Waddle Dee of this level here. A lot of people probably couldn't find this one. And there's actually another hidden Waddle Dee that requires you to get through the mall without getting lost, as it says. And that basically just means you need to take certain paths. That's why I didn't take like the immediate left path in that first room with all these different paths you could choose, and that's why I went all the way up here. So if I did not take these, then I would not get the Waddle Dee at the end, and I would also not get the Waddle Dee for not getting lost. And there's certain hints that the level gives you, but it's always the same, so you don't have to worry about that. Spawn the final third donut here, not the final one. The final one's at the very end. Yeah, as you can see, it will not load the next section until the Eat 4 Donuts thing goes off screen. Not sure why it does that, but this game is quirky in its own ways. This is an interesting mouthful. You just spin the ever-living hell out of the control stick until everything comes collapsing down on top of Kirby. And before we end, we do have to go up top to get our last donut. As you can see, we got through the mall without getting lost. That took me a while, casually, because I did not know what that meant, like I'm sure most people did. Okay, now we're getting into our first big boss fight at the end of each world. This is considered by some runners actually the hardest boss in the run. Basically how bosses work is the extra Waddle Dees you get from them require you to beat them in under a certain time, which is easy because we're speedrunners. Beat it with a certain ability or without an ability. And then a certain other gimmick that just has something to do with how the boss works. But the most important one is you can't take damage while doing any of this, which makes them pretty scary at times, especially this guy coming up, Gorimondo. Giant monkey that just doesn't know when to stop stomping around. Most frustrating part about him is that you have to beat him with the sword ability while he's walking all around you, and his idle walking animation, when he's just stomping around the field without actually trying to attack you, that does damage. So I have to be very careful to not get hit by that. Brawl at the mall. Yeah, this is... if we were doing any percent, I'd probably just use the ice ability because it has a very broken strat that can just freeze bosses instantly and do massive amounts of damage. But since it's all Waddle Dees, I do have to use sword to get the job done. Sword movement, not really as cool as fire. You just do this over and over. Yeah, I will be pretty quiet during this because I do need to make sure I beat him. Because if you take damage at all, you have to restart going to the boss, watching this entire cutscene, and then fighting him again. Can't really do anything here, we just have to wait. Okay. Okay, I got hit immediately. That is not a great start. That sweep attack usually doesn't do damage. You can slide past it easily, but that is not a very good start at all. Very unfortunate when stuff like that happens because you have to restart. I think Gorimondo is probably the most punishing one because you do have to go all the way through the mall again and then watch his big cutscene before you fight him again. Not sure why they don't let you skip it, but it is unfortunate. Gotta wait for him again. Yeah, the gimmick Waddle Dee for this fight is to slip between Gorimondo's legs, which usually isn't too bad when you're using sword. It's just a matter of not getting hit. I'm just gonna play it safe here when he does this stomp attack. Okay. Okay, that was very close. Now he's gonna do this big ol' spin attack, and I just have to run away from this basically the whole time. Pretty much just an auto-scroller. Now we go and beat him up. Okay. Playing it very safe here just to make sure he's done. Okay. That is Gorimondo. World 1 is finished. Second try, unfortunate, because that is probably one of the biggest time losses you can have is not defeating him on your first try, because of just how long it takes to get to him. But it's over, so that's all that matters. And that is World 1, probably the most bland part of this entire run, because World 2 and onward, we get a pretty cool strat pretty much every single level, I'd say. Do not want to change to wild mode. And now that World 1 is done, we're going to be introduced to Waddle Dee Town, which is pretty much the hub of this game. And that's where we'll be upgrading the fire ability into Volcano Fire, which is a lot faster and does a lot more damage. Saved all the Waddle Dees. The game actually does tell you if you saved all of them, thankfully. Yeah, big downtime here. Every time you visit Waddle Dee Town after finishing a world, it just gives you a big old cutscene about how much you've upgraded it. We haven't had much, obviously, but the Waddle Dees are putting something together. And that building right there is the first thing we'll be going to upgrade it to Volcano Fire. just so we can start doing a lot more damage throughout the run. And this gotcha machine, thankfully we don't have to use this, but 100%, getting all the figures does actually count towards 100% completion. So unfortunately we do have to spend a lot of time going through that, but that is why all Waddle Dees is, at least in my opinion, the best category, because it's everything in the main story, but you don't have to do all the extra fluff like the post-game worlds. As Elflin is saying, we need to go over there to get our new ability. Here we have Shopkeeper Waddle Dee. This is not Shopkeeper. This is Weapon Shop Waddle Dee. He's giving us some blueprints for free to upgrade the Cutter and Fire abilities, but we won't be upgrading Cutter because that is useless for now. We'll use Cutter later, but not for a long time. Here we have Volcano Fire. And he's going to give it to us for free. We don't have to actually spend any stones or coins. However, coins and stones will be important later on. So I do have to make sure to keep track of my coin count at the beginning of World 4 and towards the end of World 5. For reasons we will get into later. And now we have Volcano Fire, we can just fly through World 2 basically. Alright. Abandoned Beach. The first instance of a hidden Waddle Dee that you'll see pretty much immediately is hitting all the cracked nuts, which is pretty easy to do once you have fire. You can just stand there and spit fire on it, and it breaks almost instantly. There's a second one coming up right here. Oh, it's getting away. I think I got it. Okay. Now, in 90%, there is actually a way to skip this bonkers fight coming up, but since we do need Hammer for some Waddle Dees later on in the level, we will be fighting him, but it's not too long of a fight. Basically the same strat as the Frosty fight, just set him on fire, and then throw your copy ability at him later on. And we just wait for him, and we suck in every single star that he throws at us, and boom, he's done. Then we get the Hammer ability. Now, Hammer doesn't seem like something super fast for now, but there will be a strat much later on that kind of breaks the game wide open. Also, these guys are a lot more overpowered than they should be. Basically, if you get hit by them a single time, they will take away your copy ability, so you have to take the time loss in getting it back. Yeah, the Hammer ability is the only one that can break those little pegs that lowered that platform there, so that's why we needed it. Now there is a sand sculpture right here that we have to break before moving on. This next section is full of water, so we're going to be using the whirlpools to kind of gain some speed while also using Hammer to stay in the water as little as possible. Just doing some hammer flips here to go through the air. Going to attack this poor enemy that's just sleeping. Hitting that stump opens up a hidden cave for a neat little challenge for Waddle Dee. Yeah, dodge rolling off of ledges can gain you some pretty cool distance, especially if you chain it into a slide kick into a jump. Pretty much the best way of getting off of high surfaces. This is our first instance of a timer Waddle Dee, but this one's pretty easy. Just do some hammer flips to get across. There it is. Alright, now towards the end of this section, we're going to be dropping the hammer and actually picking up the needle ability, which if you press Y at the correct time to do the needle attack that sends you flying, and you just repeat that over and over, it actually gets you some crazy distance and speed. Dropping this and getting this guy. Alright. As you can see, gets him some pretty wild distance. This is my favorite mouthful mode ability, the ring mouth. I just love how his mouth is just wide open. He's just pogging, man. And also, the needle ability is a magnet for coins, which also will help us later on. Alright, pull that fan there so we can get access to this boat. which combined with the ring ability just lets us get a bunch of distance on the water and break through this little cave here. Oh, hello. Final cage Waddle Dee there, and the last cracked nut will be right before the end of the level. Alright, didn't get hit by him again. Yeah, the timing on this can be kind of jank because if you don't do a boost right before you hit an enemy, it will just slam you into the enemy and you'll take damage. So a bit finicky there, but not a bad 2-1. Yeah, as you can see, World 2 off to a much more interesting start than World 1 was. And 2-2 is where we'll get, I believe it's a brand new ability in this game, the drill ability, which allows us to go underground, as it may suggest. And we'll be getting a lot of shards that will spawn Waddle Dees. Wait for more treasure roads to open up. Definitely gets more obvious later on just how much downtime this game really does have, but thankfully it's not too bad. We can just jump straight into the next level. Concrete Isles. Right off the bat, we do have to, unfortunately, mess with this poor seagull here. Just make him fly off, because we do have to do that 3 times to get a Waddle Dee. Get rid of those crash bombers there. Moving with Needle is definitely not the easiest thing, especially if you're on those platforms that push you backwards. But it's not too bad to get the handle of collecting those shards. Unlock this to Waddle Dee here. Coming up pretty soon, we'll be seeing the drill ability, just using Needle a bit more. The timing of it is a bit strict, because if you just try to mash it, then it won't work. Oh, I think I missed that guy. Yeah, have to wait for him. This is drill. It actually has pretty decent aerial movement. I missed that. But the main thing it's used for is for burying underground. And we missed a shard, but we're going to get it on the way back. This is actually a bit of a faster route. Get this one right here, then we just go this way. Alright, there we go. And that puts us a lot closer to the Waddle Dee, so we can just drill right into it. There he is. And then you may be thinking we're just done here, but nope, there is actually a secret island behind this little fence here. We can just drill ourselves over to. And this is another 2-in-1 Waddle Dee, because there is one hidden in the cage here, as well as just accessing the secret island. It's not really a secret, it's just in the background, but Isle of Treasure is what it's called. Then we'll get our last seagull here, make him fly away. Alright. This last section can be pretty wonky because of the cannons that just shoot giant fireballs at you, so we'll have to dig under those at the right time. Yeah, a lot of it's waiting. Just a waiting game for the cycles to come back. Like right there's nothing in there, so we do have to wait for this. Go in here. We'll get another mouthful mode. This is the tube, I believe it's called. Basically just an auto score. You can't really oh, the pipe mouth, not tube. It's basically just an auto score. You just have to wait for it and then jump at the right time. That gets us the final shard to open the final Waddle Dee. There is actually one more hidden one that we have to get, which is by digging up a maximum tomato right at the end here. Just drill through all these. Okay. Wait for those, and then we can just go towards the Waddle Dee. Oh no! Was not expecting to lose all my height there. Okay, it's fine. There we go. That's 2-2. Introduction to the drill ability. We won't be using it too much for the remainder of the run. There are some spots where it does get used, though, for some Waddle Dees. Now, the next level is where we'll be using the ice ability for that broken strat that I was talking about for Gorimondo and any percent. There is a Waddle Dee to freeze the Florina boss that gives you the tornado ability. And normally that takes a while because you just have to hold the Y button until it freezes. But by holding the shield button and then mashing Y, not really mashing, but pressing it in a pretty consistent rhythm that's not too fast to do the moving ice attack. Just fast enough so that it just constantly pummels the boss until it's just frozen completely. But we're not there yet. We gotta climb up these ladders. Get that wanted poster there. And we get to see this mouthful again. Spin a lot. I'm gonna get these coins just for safety. Alright, just drill up here. Should make this. Okay. Alright, and this is where ice will come in. And we'll just basically just beat the crap out of Florina with ice by just mashing Y the whole time while holding the shield. And if you do it too close to the boss, you will get hurt, but it's not too big of a deal usually. Alright, well, she broke out of the ice before we could freeze her, but that's not too bad. Oh no, I got rid of ice. That is not good. I did not mean to do that. That is actually not good at all, because I got rid of ice, I would have to beat the boss with default Kirby, which means I would have to replay the entire stage again, so that is not good. That is a very frequent thing that can happen with copy abilities if you lose them, because if you inhale a copy ability, if you press Y, pretty much as soon as you grab it, there's nothing you can do. You'll just spit it out, and there's no way to get it back. So, pretty unfortunate time loss there, but don't think it's nearly as bad as messing up a boss, like a big boss at the end of a world, but it is still quite a big time loss. We'll just try again, though. As we get up there with normal Kirby. Yeah, this is what we mean by all Waddle Dees being super punishing. There's just so many ways to have to restart a level completely, like this one. Kind of hit again. That was too fast. I'm just gonna wait for it to do this thing. Oh my goodness, please. This is not going well at all. Come on. There we go. Okay, now it's frozen. That took a lot longer than it should have. Now we get Tornado. We can forget all about that ice. Now, there's only, I believe there's only like a couple more spots that we use that ability. And both of them are in pretty big bosses, so. Now that we have Tornado, things are gonna speed up, because Tornado is by far the fastest ability in this game. So all you have to do is just press Y, and it just sends you into a tornado, essentially. And then you can just zoom across levels. Get that wanted poster there. Break those boxes. And there's a secret area here. All the Waddle Dee requires here is just not touch the spikes, which with Tornado, that's pretty much free. There you go. 2-in-1 Waddle Dee again. Yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait for this entire thing to go away before it loads the next part. Alright. And now at this finale, we're going to get the glider mouthful, which is just an auto-scroller. There's nothing I can really do about this to speed it up, aside from just enjoy the ride. You know, there's not really much to do here. There is a hidden Waddle Dee towards the end, but there's a lot of auto-scrollers in all Waddle Dees with some of the mouthful modes. Like there's a roller coaster later on that we can't really speed up. There's a couple more gliders. It's not super frequent, but they do come in eventually. Music is very good though, at least. If there are any new donations, you can read those out. Make sure to donate to Urban Arts. And this is where the Waddle Dee comes in. You know, just gotta break this little wall here. Alright. Didn't do it too early, so I would bash on the wall. Alright, that's it. Now after this, we'll just get the final wanted poster and we'll finish up the level. Which is to our right. Alright, 2-4, there's another very punishing Waddle Dee, which requires us doing a fight with a bunch of enemies that takes place on a bridge above water. We have to do that entire fight without falling in the water, which with Tornado is made a lot easier. There is a strat that just takes the Tornado and spins the enemy around and knocks it at the other enemies, so that does make it more smooth sailing, but it is still a pretty scary one to mess up. Thankfully, it's towards the beginning of the level, so it shouldn't be as punishing as the Florina mess up. I'm still surprised that happened because the ice strat is usually pretty consistent. I guess my rhythm was just off. Music here is very good too. This whole soundtrack is just amazing. I'm gonna dive roll out here. Dive roll out. Thinking of Mario. If you do a dodge roll here in the water, it actually moves you a bit faster in the current. Very chill level up until that one fight that I'm referring to. First Waddle Dee is just standing right in your way. Can't miss him. Right. Do have to get this real quick. You have to get 3 pieces of sushi. Alright, and this is where the fight's coming up. Hopefully, no mishaps here. Oh, that's not good. Alright. Okay, this is interesting. There he is. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. I do have to keep the Tornado for as long as I can. Into these guys. Oh, come on, man. There he is. Alright. Pretty sloppy fight, but we did without entering the water, which is the best thing. Ignore that treasure chest, because that is not important. Break that. Alright. Get to see the ring mouth again and go into the boat. And sometimes when you get, I guess, a new type of shape that turns you into a mouthful mode, it plays it like you just got a brand, like you got it for the first time, which is a bit odd. It doesn't do this all the time. It's weirdly inconsistent. Pretty easy pattern to memorize, just right, left, middle. Take us straight to the Waddle Dee. There you go. It's pretty wild how powerful Kirby is when he's just in a boat. You just break through a bunch of crocodiles like that. Alright, do not hit me, Mr. Chili. Alright, this next part of the level, pretty straightforward. Just using Tornado a lot. Get that golden fish there for an extra Waddle Dee. And thankfully, Tornado actually acts as a counterpart to ice. It can actually break fire, or put out fire, because it is wind, I guess. Now we get the stairs. Stairs mouthful mode. This one's kind of not useful at all, aside from just getting extra Waddle Dees. And it is very easy to take damage in it as well, because you move so slow. Use Tornado real quick to get these out of the way. Alright, now we can use the stairs again. These are two very fast Waddle Dees. I'm surprised they just put them so close to each other. Hello. I didn't think you would respawn. Alright. There's the first one, and the second one is literally just right behind them. Jump here to get enough height to make it to the door. Another pretty linear section here, just hitting the switches to open the wall here to go through the current. And our last piece of fish should be right here in this whirlpool. Yep. There it is. Oh, I just went into the whirlpool. Must have dropped my jump. That's fine. Yeah, thankfully just falling into a gap is not very punishing. You don't really lose your ability or anything. It's not like the 2D Kirby games where you'll just die instantly if you fall into a gap, which is nice. Final Waddle Dee here. Yeah, if you jump and use Tornado, and then you use it again before you've landed on the ground, it's actually much slower and wears off quicker, so you want to make sure to use the first Tornado on the ground before that happens. Alright. That's over 2-4. Now, the next stage is actually our next boss here, Tropic Woods. And there are two different ways to do this. I could keep Tornado and fight it without the ability, which is how you're supposed to do it. The Waddle Dee required for it is to beat it without a single copy ability. But if you keep Tornado and just drop it over and over, you can keep it into World 3, as long as you land the final hit without an ability. However, there is a skip to just completely negate all required things that you have to do to get all the Waddle Dees. It was thought to be a pixel-perfect trick, but there was a pretty consistent setup found for it. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself there. So yeah, the hard part about this is just hitting the skip. Once that happens, we can just use fire and beat up Tropic Woods without much problem. And we can take as much damage as we want too, because once you skip the cutscene, it just skips the entire boss trigger essentially. The fight still starts, it just doesn't really, I guess, count it as the real boss fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to a fence after climbing the ladder coming up here. I'm going to do a dodge roll up and then immediately switch to the right. And if I do it correctly, then the boss will just start without a cutscene. If I fail it, I can just exit and start again. It's not a big deal, but for the sake of the marathon, I do want to show it off. Nice, first try. Very easy. And as you can see here, there's no health bar or anything. It's just an imaginary health bar, basically. And I am just holding the Y button. I'm not doing anything else. I do have to wait for him to do his puffs of air, though, just so I can not, because if you do get hit, then you get sent all the way back, so that does lose time. Now there is actually one Waddle Dee that does not count if you do the skip. It's breaking the roots, so we do have to do that manually. As you can see there, I went out of my way to break that. But for the rest of this, it's literally just holding Y until it's over. Dodging the gates as they come out, and that's it. And now the game gets really confused because in the cutscene, if I were to trigger the cutscene, that cage Waddle Dee would just go all the way up, and then it would come back down after finishing the boss. But now there's two of them. This does not count as double Waddle Dees, though. Elfwin telling us that we skipped a blueprint. That does not really matter. Blueprints are useless, except for one that we'll come across much later in the run. And we saved the Waddle Dees, but their brothers are still trapped, unfortunately. They will never be saved. The fake Waddle Dees. Yeah, as you can see, I used fire, but it still counted it as doing it without an ability. That's just the magic of the skip. However, despite using fire for this, and fire is still pretty fast for World 3, I will be going, once we return to Waddle Dee Town, I will be going back into the shop just to get Tornado, because it is much faster for World 3 in the long run. So it is worth to take the 20-second time loss, which is why most people just drop and keep Tornado throughout that whole boss fight so that they can have it for World 3 without having to go into the shop. Now we got Waddle Dee liveries. We'll be using him much later on. Not for now, though. We got Kirby's house. They built him a house, finally. And a bunch of mini games that we could play if we were doing 100%, but we are not. This might actually be the longest Waddle Dee Town cutscene in the game. There's just so much stuff that you unlock from beating World 2 with all the rescued Waddle Dees. Yep, and we even got Professor Waddle Dee. I think he gives you, yeah, he gives you tips to find missing blueprints, so very helpful. We're gonna go in here very quickly just to snatch up Tornado and then leave again. Do have to watch all these new abilities that we got, though. Not too big of a time loss. Alright. Thankfully, you can just suck up the ability without having to manually select it. Now we're going into World 3, which is an abandoned amusement park. Probably my favorite world in the game, aesthetically. The levels themselves are actually pretty fun, too. Welcome to Wandaria. So this first section actually has 2 Waddle Dees in it. One of them is getting on top of that rocket statue, and the other is saving these little ducklings and bringing them back to their mother in typical wholesome Kirby fashion. They're just getting on top of the rocket there very quickly, grants you the Waddle Dee. These ducklings do have some interesting AI, though. You can't get too far away from them, otherwise they will just, like, pretend you don't exist. It should be all 5 of them, though. They're all happy. And we can just do that. Should count all 5. Alright. Next section, just abusing Tornado a bunch to skip pretty much all these roller coasters. It's still very easy to get hit by them, unfortunately. Oh, come on, Kirby. Get up. There we go. It's a very cycle-heavy level, and I'm definitely missing a bunch of cycles because of that earlier section. Yeah, it can be quite annoying just bonking off the roller coaster ride train things over and over. Right. A bit too high up, so I had to drop. Should be able to make this? No, I'm not. Okay. Alright, and that secret door opens up yet another auto-scroller. This time we'll be using a roller coaster mouthful mode. A bit more fun to watch than the glider, but still an auto-scroller nonetheless. Damn, he was chasing me. Yeah, not much to do you can, to speed this up. I can tilt to get extra coins, though, which I will need later on, so I will make it a priority to grab these. There's a fly. Hit the switch here, just spawn a few more coins. I guess one thing to note is if you do get hit by anything, it does slow you down, so just be wary of that. Alright, and hit to the switch to the left there, and that spawns the Waddle Dee. Okay, that was a bit jank. Tornado can be a very jank ability. Controlling it, especially in 3D, for the first time, it can get pretty wonky. But it more than makes up for it by being super broken, because we can do stuff like this. Just have to make this cycle here, get up real quick. That switch for another Waddle Dee. This next section is definitely the longest part of the entire level, because when we enter, there's a bunch of mud, and to clear that mud, we need water. And how does Kirby get water? He inhales all of it, of course, and he becomes a water balloon. Fastest way of moving with this is just jumping and spraying water everywhere. Very, very slow mouthful mode. We do have to water all the flowers. We're at the halfway point. Can't really use Tornado much to get through here. Go through this again. Okay, there we go. Clear all the mud here to make the platform go down and get the last flower. Spawns a blueprint. Once again, we'll not be needing that. Let's get up here on this little ledge, and that allows us to get to the top floor. Let me use the water balloon one last time to clear all 4 of these piles of mud. And that allows us to get our last Waddle Dee. There we go. We still have to keep them so that we can get to the final fountain that takes us to the end. But the celebration in water balloon mode is definitely something. Decent 3-1. Not too bad. Did mess up a lot of the tornado stuff with all the cycles at the beginning, but that's okay. All right, 3-2 is a racing level. We'll be using the car a lot in this one. Circuit Speedway. Pretty much most of the Waddle Dees here involve just finishing each race as fast as you can under a certain time. Pretty short though, not like anything too crazy. There is actually a specific Waddle Dee that requires me getting like a very perfect cycle as soon as I enter a room. And if I miss it, I will have to just re-enter the room and try again because it's very hard to just get that cycle again on the fly. So unfortunately, that is the price you pay for missing it, but hopefully it shouldn't be too bad with Tornado. Yeah, the first requirement here is 25 seconds. I'm about to do it in about either 16 or 17. 18 if something goes horribly wrong. Pretty solid. Should be a 17. Yeah, Waddle Dee finishing in under 20 as well. And thankfully, Tornado just automatically lowers itself to the lower ground, so we don't have to wait it out to enter that door there. Refresh my Tornado there real quick. This sub-area is where the cycle will come into play. If I mess it up, I will have to just re-enter and try again. There you go. Nice. Very good. Let me get this invincibility candy once again. And that allows us to move a lot faster, even though we'll still be using Tornado. Won't really matter too much. The main reason for getting this is because there's an invincibility candy Waddle Dee for defeating Wild Edge with it. They just walk into him twice and he's done. And that gives us a Waddle Dee. The next Waddle Dee here. Didn't want to do any more slide kicks there because it would have homed in on the bunnies. Now for the few seconds left we have of invincibility, it actually makes the car move a lot faster. Did not last very long. I mean, you take these cardboard shortcuts for another Waddle Dee. Not too difficult. Nice. Don't fall. cutting this very tight here. Nice. That was pretty good. 38. Not too bad. I did play it a bit safer on the second cardboard shortcut, but that's just because I did not want to fall by going as early as I could. Yeah, we do want to avoid getting those figures because it does have a cutscene for you grabbing it, and then it gives you a cutscene of telling you what figure you got after beating the level, so they are slow. All right, 3-3 is probably one of my favorite levels in the game. Very glow-in-the-dark horror house looking level. It's very creative. And right at the start of the level, there will be a Waddle Dee box that swaps between a Waddle Dee and a Gordo. And it is on a pretty tight cycle, so if I feel like I'm not going to get it, then I'll just wait it out. Because if you do spawn the Gordo, then you just have to restart the whole level. Because all Waddle Dees is punishing. Music here is amazing, of course. We also need to get 3 of the ghost hidden snacks. Not very hidden. All right, here we go. Nice, got him. Let's go. I always try to cut that corner and I bonk on that. And this is where we're introduced to another mouthful that we use for all of 2 seconds. The light bulb. Light this up to start the platform, and then we just move around in the dark because Tornado is just broken like that. You just skip all of it. You cannot, sadly, skip all the way to the end because there are invisible walls, so you do have to somewhat go the linear path, but right here we're just going to go right to the last part of this area. Now this sub-area here wants me to use Cutter, but Tornado can actually reach far enough to hit the caged Waddle Dee that is trapped behind bars. Okay, missed the cycle there a bit. Yeah, Tornado can be weird with that hitbox. You need to be very close to make that work. And considering Tornado likes to bounce off walls a lot, it's pretty tough sometimes. Tornado here just to get the next light bulb. And we actually do use light bulb for a bit longer here. I definitely need to make sure I don't get hit by those Gordos because there is actually a Waddle Dee for not getting hit by them. And it is kind of scary in that situation. The last piece of food here. That's the second one. Last one is coming up pretty quick. And get back to the banger music. Jump off this. Okay, that's not what I intended, but whatever. You can just jump off this thing. There's lots of tornado abuse here up until the end. Alright, this is the last piece of food that we're getting. We just have to wait this out for the fake wall so we can be the vending machine again, because the final Waddle Dee is for shooting down all the plastic aliens that the horror house wants to show us. And you can only do this with the vending machine. Pretty short auto scroller here. Just gotta get rid of it, the last of these guys. There we go. Nice. And I can use Tornado here to speed this up just by a little bit. Nice. Pretty decent 3-3. 3-4 is a very heavy cycle-based level because we're going to the Wandaria Festival. And there are a lot of trains moving around trying to hit us. Especially at the beginning when we're trying to save ducklings and bring them back to their mother. Interesting concept for a Kirby level. Yeah, usually after each level it spawns 2 treasure roads. I believe before each boss it only spawns 1, so it's a bit shorter, but it ranges from 1 to 2. Alright, that was pretty good. Good entry. Now here's where the cycles come in. Yep. Already getting interrupted. Kill all these guys because I need the ducklings. If the ducklings spot any enemy, like if any enemy gets near them, or the trains for that matter, they will get very scared and run away. To make sure that that does not happen. They need to be safe. Okay, that was actually surprisingly well done. I'm surprised that worked. Wow. That was lucky. Okay, now we gotta wait, unfortunately. All the ducks are back. Okay, I make this. Okay, nice. Barely made that. Now, the next part of this level is all about not touching mud. Cannot touch the mud or else I will not get the ending Waddle Dee. This is where Grounded Tornado comes into play, because since I triggered that on the ground, even if I'm in the air, I will get a full speed tornado on the second time. Alright, we're coming up on another race car, but this one requires us to beat it in 5 seconds. You're probably wondering, how do you do that? Well, you take this cone here, and you smash this. Smash it, thank you. And this switch opens up a secret road that allows us to beat it in 2 seconds. Very simple. I believe I have gotten a sub 2 there only once. Very rare. Come on, get out. And make sure I don't... Oh, I got the figure, whatever. That's not too big of a time loss. It's mainly just the end of the level. Those figures are very hard to avoid because the platforms are so small. Some more tornado stuff here. I need to get Elflin's wanted poster. This last section's pretty tame. Just go forward most of the time. Stopping tornado early just so I can get it back. Then we get the water balloon again. And I wonder if I can actually make this. Nice. Made that. Shoot 2 vehicles into that and you're good. Get that Waddle Dee. Alright. And one last big cycle here. Making this one really doesn't matter at all, because I do have to wait for him to go back up anyway, but it's cool to see. That was 3-4. That was actually pretty solid for the most part. Ducklings could have been a bit better, but that's pretty much the hardest part of the level. Alright, now this boss. This could also be in contention for the hardest boss in the game, along with Gorimondo. Clawreline, I believe is her name. There are all kinds of names that the community calls her. But the main issue with this fight is that her attack pattern isn't exactly consistent. Sometimes she'll jump up in the air and then do a jump attack. So it's kind of hard to predict what she's going to do. I would not be surprised if I take damage here, but I'm hoping for the best, of course. And I guess the gimmick for this fight is to do it without hovering, which doesn't seem that bad, but there have been times where I have accidentally hovered without even realizing it, because it was only for like half a second. And then when I realized that I missed that Waddle Dee, it just occurred to me. That was not a fun experience. Because if you beat the boss without realizing that that happened, you have to go all the way to Waddle Dee Town, watch that whole big cutscene, and then go back and fight her. And we're going to be getting Ranger here, because there is a Waddle Dee for hitting her up in the rafters with Ranger. Second phase is pretty consistent. It's mainly just the first phase. It's all random. Hopefully nothing too bad happens. I'm going to be doing a lot of dodge rolls so I can parry her attacks. Decent so far. Nice, okay. Second phase, this is like the main scary part. So I have all the swords. I don't know why she's doing this. Okay. Hopefully I don't run out of Ranger. Okay, very good. That was a nice fight. Don't think I hovered either, so we should be fine. It should, I believe it does say if you did it without hovering too, so. Yep, there it is. Elflin, I do not care about the blueprint, I'm sorry. That was a really solid World 3. I'm glad that there were no huge mistakes in that one, because World 3 is probably one of the coolest to show off in the game. Early game is probably one of the hardest parts of this run, to be honest, between the Florina thing and what happened in Gorimondo. Thankfully, nothing too big after that, though. And now we go back to Waddle Dee Town for another huge cutscene, and we go get Tornado again, and then we start World 4, which is an ice world. Probably one of the best ice worlds I've ever played in a video game, honestly. Mainly because of the music. Music in 4-1 is amazing. And we unlock the Coliseum, which we don't really do anything in. We do get to see Meta Knight fly in, though. Meta Knight's cool. Another gotcha machine that we won't use. Yep, here it is. Alright. Now we're just going back to get Tornado real quick before we start World 4. Here we go. 4-1 is not too exciting of a level because there is some like auto-scroller cycle-based stuff towards the end. So you can't really speed up too much, but the beginning is pretty neat. Yeah, this is widely regarded as probably the best song in the game. It is quite magical. Get through this back alley here. Always hit that tree every single time. Alright. Should be able to kill these guys in one swoop. Nice. I get the vending machine again. There is a really stupid jump that I will be going for, like, just once, because it's funny to show off, I guess. But the vending machine just is so pathetic at jumping that it's actually really hard to do. Hey, I got it. Let's go. Let's hope I don't fall off. Oh, we're good. Yeah, that save's just going all the way around. It's a very minor time save, and it loses you a lot if you jump too late and just end up falling through. Second snow sculpture. This is where all the cycles will come in. There's gonna be a lot of waiting. We're actually gonna go see Ranger again. Just real quick so I can hit the target to unlock the sub area. I missed. This is pretty similar to the one in 1-3. Just get rid of Tornado, get Ranger, and then hit the target. Please hit. Okay. That's fine. As long as I can get Tornado back in time, we're fine. Alright, now that's done, back to cycles and waiting. Third snow sculpture there. And thankfully this cycle is just good enough so that we can break open this box here. Get this last Waddle Dee, or second to last Waddle Dee. This level is actually quite long. One of the longer levels in the game. And wait for that, and we can go up here. Now the final section, no more cycles, just a lot of tornado abuse and climbing upstairs. And avoiding penguins throwing snowballs. If there are actually instances like that where it's probably faster to not use tornado just because you're going such a short distance. I don't know why Kirby did not nail that. Okay. There's the last snow sculpture. And it's pretty much impossible to do this without getting hit, so not a big deal. I'm gonna break this perfectly shaped hole here. Break out right before the buffalo touches us. Right. There's the last Waddle Dee. Not done yet, though. There is one last thing right at the end. This actually took me a very long time to figure out what it meant casually. That clock tower back there looks like it's just in the background, but you can actually go to it just by jumping off here and then flying to it. Which basically skips that entire puzzle that we saw with all the green switches. Get all these coins. Okay. Nice. Alright. Now that 4-1 is done, I'm actually going to backtrack to Waddle Dee Town, and with all the coins that I've built up, I'm going to be purchasing speed boosts, which do just as they say, they make you move a lot faster, which with Tornado doesn't really make much of a difference with speed boosts. It's mainly just Kirby's base movement that gets faster. And we'll also be entering a present code, thanking Meta Knight, so that we can get some stones for later in World 5. Yeah, we actually make a couple of visits to Waddle Dee Town in this run. Once here, and then once at the very end of World 5, I believe. We're going to get another big cutscene because we saved a whole 10 Waddle Dees. And there's the shop. That's where we get our speed boost. first, we need to enter a code. Hello. Skip through all this text. Then we cancel the online thing. Then we just enter the code. Code is "Thank you, Meta Knight. Hopefully I can spell tonight. I've been awake for a very long time." Optimal. Technically, I could use a USB keyboard on my Switch and type this very fast, but thankfully the code checks out. We got our president. Not gonna be opening that until way later, though. Let me go to the shop, and we're going to buy a lot of speed ups. Attack up will be useful much later, and defense up is never useful, because it just increases your health bar even more than it already is. So yeah, I'm going to buy 5 speed boosts, but I'm only going to use 4 of them, and I'm going to save the last one for a later time. It'll become pretty obvious why I saved it when we get to that. Yeah, using all of these stacked up at once grants us a big speed boost for a total of 800 seconds, which comes in handy a lot when we're not using Tornado for sure. Like I'll even demonstrate it when we're finished. Just one single slide kick moves Kirby so much farther. All right, use this last one, buy one more, and then we are out. Yeah, as you can see, it probably didn't seem that much different just from that one, but it does move a lot faster. And thankfully, the timer does not go down while we're in Waddle Town. It only goes down in actual levels or treasure roads. So I need to make sure to be fast so that I can keep as much of the in-game time as I can. All right, Metro on Ice. This is quite the interesting one. We're going to be trading Tornado and Hammer back and forth quite a bit. We're actually going to be getting we're going to be getting the crash ability, but we're not actually going to use it. It's just for a roulette later on in 4-4, which is a pretty scary one actually. The roulette in 4-4 is probably one of the things I'm most nervous about. Getting crash here is pretty crucial, so I'm going to make sure I get him. All right. Then we just drop him. Let me pick up Tornado again. Lots of enemies here. I need to make sure to get Tornado back. Okay. Nice. And as you can see, Kirby's moving very fast now, especially combined with Ice. We're going to drop Tornado about here, get Hammer, and then get this extra Waddle Dee. Then we're going to run back and get Tornado very quickly before it runs out. Nice. And we're going to be doing that a lot in this level. That was a pretty good first section. Skip all this Hammer stuff for now, but we will be needing this guy right here. Let me get Tornado again and go into the secret area. Then we're going to be doing the exact same thing that we just did. Tornado back, and then we can just Tornado right into this shard. Get up here. Ow. Was not expecting that. Alright. Nice. Get this health, just 'cause why not? That's a pretty cool room. I like that one a lot. Get on this little platform just so I have enough height to get over here. And then open up that secret passage to get the Waddle Dee. Dodge these guys. They are not important. I do need to get up, though, so I can get this guy. Alright, this next section can actually be cheesed really easily with Tornado. Normally you need a cone mouth ability to get up top to the very end where the Waddle Dee is. But Tornado can just completely cheese this. Just by coming up here. I said up here, okay. Need to wait for that guy. Okay. Just jump in Tornado and we should be able to reach the top. Nice. There's one more thing that we have to do. We just have to go inside this little cubby here. I mean, just Tornado straight to the end. This is a very awkward one because the whole thing just moves. Oh, I was actually in the air when I did that. Oh well. Alright. Decent 4-2. Now, 4-3 is probably one of the hardest levels in the game. Because there is a huge triple skip right at the end that we skip 3 pretty big parts of like the all Waddle Dees version of the level. There's a secret passage down below that requires a whole puzzle with like the crane mouthful mode, and once you finish it, you get sent up top to a Waddle Dee. But we can actually skip that entire thing, and there is a Waddle Dee for entering the secret area, but it doesn't actually. Like, you can get the Waddle Dee before you actually enter the loading zone. So, basically, at the end of this level, I'm going to be trying to get the Waddle Dee up top, fall down, and then go all the way back up to hit a switch using my height from up above. Because no matter how far down you fall, as long as you were high up in the first place, you will gain all that height back once you start hovering. The first part of the skip is actually the hardest, so definitely need to make sure I get that. If I don't, then I am kind of screwed, and I just have to do the intended version because the wind is so strong in the ending section that I can't really justify going back without losing a bunch of in-game time on my speed up that I wouldn't already lose just from doing the intended way. So it will be kind of a bummer if I miss it, but I will try my best. Get another ring mouth here. Ring mouth also moves a lot faster. This is pretty big proof that speed up is pretty broken, especially when we get on the boat here. That is much faster than in World 2. And you get 3 pieces of food at sea here. This is a very fast one. All 3 of them are right here. Okay. Get that fan there to lower the spikes. Okay. Scarfies, man. Quite the enemy. That's it for ring mouth. Getting fire real quick here, just to blow this up and get a Waddle Dee. Nice. And go back up for tornado. And this is where the skip comes in. So hopefully I can get the first part, because that's getting the first part is what sets you up for the rest of the skip. So. Waddle Dee here. Basically, I'm going to jump on that ice block that you saw up ahead. And hopefully I'll have enough height to reach the next part. Okay, good start. I just need to get up here. Okay. Alright, at this point I'm pretty much fine. If I miss the third part, it's like the least amount of time lost, so got the hard part out of the way, at least. Now I just have to get this without falling into the loading zone. That should be good. I might be able to make this. No, I didn't. I was able to hit the switch, but I did not keep the height long enough. That's fine. At least I got to show off the hard part, which is nice. I'm very glad I got that, because I was very worried about that. Alright, and now 4-4. Another scary level because of something I mentioned earlier, which is the mix roulette. If you inhale 2 different enemies that give you copy abilities, like a fire enemy and a needle enemy, which is what we'll be doing in this one, it starts a roulette that will give you what seems like a random copy ability, but you can actually kind of guess where it's going to land. And we want to get Crash because at the end of the level, there is a Waddle Dee for beating 2 different Frost Dees at the same time without taking damage at all. And doing that without Crash is very hard. So if I don't get Crash, I'll try my absolute best to do it with Hammer or whichever one comes after Crash. But ideally, we will get Crash and we'll just be able to kill them instantly. But the rest of the level is kind of straightforward, but it is pretty difficult. There is actually a skip that I will be attempting to skip the Florina fight. And I'm going to be doing what's called a Hammer Super Jump, which involves me puffing up in the air until Kirby's until he's out of breath. And I will do a hammer swing and hit the ground. And then as soon as I hit the ground, I have to start jumping again. And then assuming I do the timing correctly, I will go super high in the air and I'll be able to skip the Florina fight. That is after the sword section. Yeah, you need to get every single mini-boss for a Waddle Dee here. Hopefully I made that cycle. Okay. That cycle can only be made with a speed up, so. This is a very cool level when it's done well. It's just extremely stressful because of the hammer jump and the roulette at the end. All right, here we go. Once this is done loading. If I don't get it, I'll just fight Florina. It's not too hard of a fight with Hammer. Alright, that was probably too low. Yeah, if I entered the boss fight like that, then I was definitely too low. Alright, now I just have to kind of improvise, unfortunately. Alright. That should be fine. Nice. Not too bad. Didn't lose too much time. That is one of the harder hammer super jumps in the game. Because you do need to get max height to make sure that you actually skip the boss. Otherwise, if you're too low, then you won't be able to cross the invisible barrier that you get stuck in when the fight starts. And assuming I did skip Florina, I would have still been able to do this sub-area because there is a tornado enemy inside. So, wouldn't have to worry about that. This next wanted poster. Alright, now strat for this part is to drop tornado about right here. I hope that's good enough. If not, then I'm just going to have to... Okay, good, we got it. Lots of neutral Kirby here. And we're just going to do the same thing we did in the last Bonkers fight. Boom. Easy. We get Hammer again, and then after this sub-area is where the mix comes in. And I have a pretty good queue because Crash comes after Hammer, I believe, in the roulette. So I just have to make sure to keep my eye on that. Started the timer there. And with the speed up, this is basically free, and you'll really see the power of speed up when we get to the car because the car moves insanely fast. Zoom. All right. Now I gotta focus up because not only is the roulette hard, but setting up the roulette is hard because I need to position them just right in front of each other. Oh, I just realized I did not. This is not good at all. Oh my goodness. Forgot to drop Hammer. Oh. Okay. Nice. We got Crash. Okay, we're good. We are safe. Assuming I don't lose it somehow or accidentally press Y. That was very stressful because I completely forgot to drop the hammer, so I was just ready to start it, and if I didn't take note of that immediately, then I would have messed it up because I would have killed one of the enemies. Just mash Y and both Frosties are dead, no damage. Very glad to have gotten that first try because if I messed that up and I had to improvise, there's a very likely chance I would have not gotten it because that fight is extremely hard without Crash. And it's also just very slow. Like, even if you... Oh, wow, okay. That guy is just gone. Thankfully, he respawns. Like, even if you do successfully get that fight without Crash, it is still extremely slow, so... Glad I got that out of the way. That's nice. Get this last wanted poster here. Last Waddle Dee, and that should be it for 4-4. Make our way to the end. Okay, boss of World 4 will be very familiar to most of you, I hope. I hope you're familiar with King DDD himself. I'm going to be keeping ice for this because I'm going to be using that ice strat. Oops. Using that ice strat that I used on Florina in 2-3, I believe. I'm just going to be mashing Y. Hopefully better than I did last time to freeze DDD in place and be able to just completely KO him. He does have 2 enemies at his side at the beginning of the fight, so hopefully those won't get in my way, but they usually shouldn't. Usually. Ideally, DDD is probably the easiest boss in the game just because of how broken ice is. But obviously, you can still mess it up just by being too careless with ice, and then he ends up hurting you. That's why we always got to have improv strats for whenever I mess up the ice. I'm going to get this just in case I can actually see when my health goes down. Alright, here we go. Alright, good. You have to swallow his hammer real quick, because that is a Waddle Dee that is required. Get ice back, and second phase starts. Oh boy. I think we should be good, maybe. It's gonna be close. Alright, we should be fine. Nice. Easy. DDD is down. Definitely. That he's not going to get back up, I swear. Avoid the blueprint again. Do not care, Elflin. Oh, nice. That was a much better World 4 than I expected. I was hoping it'd be good, but I was expecting a lot of things to go wrong because it is just such a difficult world, especially 4-3 and 4-4. And DDD got back up somehow. I don't know how. I mean, we froze him to death, basically. And Elflin is captured. Plot. This game has plot, I swear. Alright, now this is where the game just completely ramps up in difficulty, I'd say. World 5 and 6 are very long and very difficult in some aspects. Nothing as crazy punishing as World 4, I'd say. Or even World 3, for that matter. But just overall, the difficulty in going as fast as you can does increase a lot. And this music always gets me motivated to just keep going fast. Well, this honestly might be my favorite song in the game. It's just one of the best desert themes I've ever heard. Get Ranger back. And this is another shard collecting one. Okay, I can't snipe apparently. The Dreamland sniper. Should hit, okay. Nice. All right. Let's go. Easy. Not sure why it cuts to black there. It's not even that far away, but... Alright, and then we can just hover up here. Get that. Let me get ring mouth real quick. Ow. Next shard. And for some reason, there's a Waddle Dee just for killing this guy. Unfortunately. I feel bad for him. Alright. Kill Bernard here. Yes, that is his name. Should hit. Oh, shoot. That is not what I wanted to do. I was expecting that to hit it. Oops. That's fine. He's... Okay, I need you to stop going in mouthful mode real quick, Kirby. There we go. Okay, we don't need that anymore. No more Ranger. Now we can just move with ring mouth very fast. Come on. And we get Florina again. Except this time we're just mashing the Y button and completely obliterating her. And that is actually a Waddle Dee. Just destroying her with ring mouth. Music got all quiet. Nice loop. Alright. A bit of a slow tornado, but it's whatever. Next section can be pretty tough. Mainly just the sub area where one of the Waddle Dees is. Also have to deal with all these falling pillars. Get ring mouth here. Destroy everything. Oh, come on. Easy. He's just so happy when he's pogging about saving a Waddle Dee. Get rid of that guy ahead of time. Alright, this is pretty straightforward. Just dodge all these. And if I get... Oh, whoops. Okay. If I got out of the ring mouth a bit earlier, then I would have avoided damage, but it's okay. It's jokey. Ow. I'm really trying here. It's fine. Alright, nice. Pretty decent ending, besides the 2 bonks there. Not a bad 5-1. Now 5-2 is where we'll be finally using that that last speed up that we bought, because at the very end of the level we'll be using the water balloon, and as you know that's very slow. But with a speed up, thankfully it speeds up the process a lot of walking as a giant bloated water balloon. Searching the Oasis. Oasis is always such a cool setting. Yeah, first part's not very special, just a lot of tornado stuff. However, we will be getting a new ability here. Everyone's favorite. Okay, I'm surprised that hit me. Wow, that guy's got aim. And the new ability is... It's gonna be Sleep Kirby, if I can actually get this. All this does is just put you to sleep. And there is actually a Waddle Dee for getting this and falling asleep by the pool. I actually don't know if this is the first Kirby game to heal you with sleep. It might be. I don't think sleep healed you in other games. But another reason why this game's the GOAT. Best Kirby game in my opinion. Kind of go up here a bit to bypass the invisible wall. As you see, my speed boost has now ran out, but it typically runs out around this point for me, so. Just get these guys. Pretty easy fight. Now use the pipe again. Auto-scroller. And if I still had my speed boost here, this would not affect it. The timer would not go down during this. It doesn't go down during the coaster, and it doesn't go down during the glider sections. Because there's just no way to speed those up. I thought I was too early on that jump. I'm gonna get these coins just for safety. So we will have to revisit Waddle Dee Town pretty soon again. I got him, okay. Little mini skip here with Drill. If I can get on top of this. Okay, come on. Come on now. There we go. Skip's going around the lower floor there. And we get Water Balloon. Not using the speed buff quite yet. You do have to use it to get rid of all this poison here. Now we have an auto-scroller, again. This game just loves them. I feel like Kirby in general just likes auto-scrollers. Not really much going on here. Just waiting. Alright, nice. Okay, now that's done, we can actually start playing the game again. Gonna dig through here, go back the way we came from with that little skip. And there is one more purple dude here that we need to kill with the water balloon, so we're going to dig under here and hit this switch to raise the water. And this is where the speed boost comes in. Right after we get this, I'm going to activate it. And just watch how he moves like twice as fast. It's wild. 4 hits, and then kill this guy just so I don't have to worry about him. Nice. And that's it for 5-2. Pretty straightforward level compared to 5-1. The beginning of 5-1 is so open-ended with all the stuff with the Ranger. All right, 5-3 is probably the most difficult level here. We're going back to the mall, actually, except we're going to the staff side, or as some people call it, the back rooms. And the reason it's so difficult is because there's just so many different mouthfuls you use, and you gotta keep swapping abilities. You also fight Bonkers with the cutter ability, of all things, because that's required for a Waddle Dee. There's also a mix at towards the end that I need to get Tornado with, and if I don't get Tornado, then I'm just going to be revisiting Waddle Dee Town to grab it, unfortunately. Thankfully, it's the last mix of the run, so if I get it, if I don't, doesn't really matter, won't have to worry. It'll just be a decent time loss because of having to watch the giant Waddle Dee Town cutscene. So, very quiet because they're about to jump scare us with good music. Again, same song as in World 1, always a bop. I believe there's a needle guy here that I get at the beginning. Yep. Yes. And the main collectible for this one is ice cream. We need to get 3 pieces of it. Or taste them. I guess Kirby's tasting them. We get to use all these mouthful modes with a speed buff, which is nice. Alright, gotta get the ring mouth here. Go all the way back. Lots of backtracking in this one. All these Scarfies here. Waddle Dees makes some weird sounds while they're trapped in those cages. Alright, nice. Pretty good so far. Rid of that guy. I do actually need sword here, though. Chop this down. Oh my goodness. Okay. Run, vending machine, run. Come on, get up. Nice. Alright, I believe the roulette is coming up. Actually, it's at the end of the level. There's a few more things we need to do before it. I think I can get rid of the sword now. Yes, because this is where the bonkers fight comes in, where you have to fight him with the cutter ability, which I don't think we've actually used since 1-1. I'm gonna get this. I don't want to die. Alright, here he is. Only time we'll actually be fighting with this. Come on. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long to work. Gotta wait for him to do his thing. Okay, we did it. Very slow way of fighting him, but it's required, so. Hello. And this is actually the only time in the game that we are getting a blueprint, because this is the upgrade to Hammer, which is Wild Hammer, which does immense amounts of damage. Way more than normal Hammer. And you combine this with an attack buff, which is what we'll be doing later, and you just completely destroy bosses. I do need to keep Hammer here for just a little bit, so I can get the next ring mouth, because that clock there is actually a mouthful. I do need the ice cream as well. Almost forgot that. Not getting sleep again, sorry. Wow. Okay. See, it just acts like I got it for the first time. It's so bizarre. Alright, this is where the mix comes in. Hopefully I can get this. Okay. We need to get rid of this and this. Nice. Okay, got it. That's both mixes. Thank God. Very happy I got that. Mixes were definitely the part I was scared the most about in this run, besides the bosses, which, aside from Gorimondo, the bosses have gone pretty smoothly so far, so that makes me happy. Do a little mini skip here with Water Balloon. I actually got here before the speed buff ran out. That's pretty rare for me. That's pretty cool. Nice. This is a very good 5-3. The last piece of ice cream there. I jinxed it? No! It's fine. If I had the speed boost, I could have just jumped the corner and made it all the way over here, but it's whatever. Alright, that should be everything. For 5-3, probably the hardest level here. So I'm very glad that that was as good as it was. Alright, 5-4, Moonlight Canyon. Another one of the best songs in the game. And this is actually not too bad of a level. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. There is a little skip that I'm gonna do in the dark section. If I don't get it, then I literally just land where I need to go anyways, so I won't lose that much time. But I will try to get it once. All right. More wanted posters to clear here. Because Kirby is just an outlaw to these dog things, I guess. Let's get rid of that guy real quick. Alright. It's the first wanted poster out of 3. I didn't mean to get that. Nice. I don't know where that came from. I've never seen that pizza food before. Okay. That's the only time we use this until like the very end of the section. Alright, this is where the mini skip comes in. I'm going to jump up on top of this at the highest point possible. Fly over here. And I should... Oh, I just barely didn't make it. Oh well. That's okay. I just barely didn't have enough height, but if I was able to cancel that just a bit later, I probably would have been able to hover just enough to clear that ledge there, and I would have been able to skip that whole light bulb section, but not too big of a time loss. Like this. Let me just go and get this wanted poster real quick. And the Waddle Dee. And some money. Sure, why not? Alright, here's where the best song comes in. Very cool part of the game. Just use Tornado to cheese all these ladders. You don't need to climb anything. I mean, normal Kirby could pass that just fine as well. It would just be a lot slower. Clear that wanted poster. Come up here. Let me get the crane mouthful. Oh, I missed. No. Okay. I gotta get out. In this sub area, we can just completely cheese with Tornado because, of course, we can. Just go up once and then boom. Do a little roll there to get down faster. And he cleared the secret room without falling. I actually forget that's a Waddle Dee sometimes. Alright. Now the end of this level is just another auto-scroller. We get to use the glider again. How fun. Except we get a much better song. Not that the normal song for gliding is not very good as well. This is just like a top 3 song in the game, so it's hard to compare. This is a much more eventful section as well than the previous one. There's a lot more going on. Dodge these pillars here. And the Waddle Dee is all the way off to the right here. Pretty straightforward. And now the last Waddle Dee here, I'm sure a lot of people missed in their casual playthrough, me included. The cactus treasure is actually right behind the goal. I did not, like, this took me so many attempts to find, because obviously you just go straight to the goal. You don't think anything's gonna be behind there. And it turns out, of course there is, because it's Kirby. They always love hiding stuff in weird places. That's 5-4. And now we're going to revisit Waddle Dee Town to get attack buffs and a bunch of speed. So that we can take on Silly Dillo. And also so we can upgrade Hammer. Because Wild Hammer is busted if you pair it with a attack buff. Yeah, aside from the first 2 worlds, this has actually gone pretty well, I'd say. I'm pretty happy with this run so far. But of course, we have 2 bosses, or 3 bosses left actually, and all of World 6. So who knows what can happen. World 6 is probably considered the hardest, I'd say. There's so much stuff going on. Alright. Back to Waddle Dee Town we go. And we unlock the best feature of all. I think. Pretty sure this when we get it. Fishing! Everybody loves fishing. Oh. Yeah, the 100% speedrun fishes for about, like, 30 minutes, I believe. And it uses Kirby and Bandana Waddle Dee to fish up twice as fast. Very interesting run, I must say. And we also get the tilt and tumble minigame, which I despise. Thankfully, do not have to do that. And we also get an upgrade, which we will get to later at the end of this. Get our little present from earlier. Thank you, Meta Knight. I have to watch this cutscene 3 separate times. That's fun. Alright, now we tornado all the way back up to the shopkeeper to get our buffs. Yeah, I'm going to... Oh no, I do not want defense up. That is useless. That is beyond useless. I'm very glad it gives you the option if you really want to buy it. Yeah, we're going to buy 5 speed ups and use all of them, and then buy 1 attack buff, use it, and then buy 1 more that we're going to save for later. Much later. Yeah, lots of menuing going on here. And we also get this guy's figure for being a loyal customer. Amazing. I believe in my splits, this takes about 4 minutes, so it is quite a lot. As long as we have 800 coins after buying everything, then we will be fine for the upgrade. We should have... Yeah, we should be fine, easy. Yeah, we're good. Still glad I played it safe on coins, though. Just always gotta be sure of everything in a marathon run. Alright. Yeah, we're about 100 extra. And now we go upgrade our hammer to make it very broken for the silly Dillo fight. Sorry, Waddle Dee. Got Crash, Sleep. Yes, it is a blueprint. Alright. And there we go. It's pretty much everything there is to do in Waddle Dee Town. We're never coming back. Actually, I think it does send us back after clearing World 5, but for now. That's all the important stuff in Waddle Dee Town. We just leave immediately after we come back. Getting Tornado here just because when I enter the boss, it's just a bit faster to move with Tornado before the boss fight. Collector in the Sleepless Valley. Yeah, the gimmick of Silly Dillo is that he makes little stitches of Elfilin and Kirby and all his weird creations, I guess. And Kirby, being super oblivious, gets tricked into thinking that Elflin is the real one when it's really a Stitch. And we have to break all 3 of his Stitches for a Waddle Dee. While also not getting hit. And that is how good an attack buff is. I just triggered the next phase just like that. Uh-oh. I was not expecting that. Oh. That's actually kind of unfortunate because I might have to hit him an extra time here. Okay, we're good. Alright, now he's going to pull out his little dancer. I'm going to completely dodge this because it is possible to hit him while in this, but it is super risky, and if I mess it up, I will get hit. I'm going to be as close to him as possible so that I can get in close to hit him for the final couple times. That hit me? Oh no, that's so bad. Oh my god. I was not expecting that to hit me. That is so unfortunate. It was probably because he cornered me, if I had to guess. Because usually if I get super close to him and he throws the dancer, it just goes right around me. That is probably the biggest boss time loss of the whole run, actually. Even though this is quite a fast boss compared to the others, dying right at the end is not fun. Still have plenty of speed buff, but that is definitely going to put a damper on it. And I have to do all the Waddle Dees again. Oh boy. Alright, here we go again. I'm gonna make sure not to get back into a corner this time. Alright, should be it. I don't think I took damage at the last second there, because my health bar was not full when I started the fight, so we should be fine. Really unfortunate time loss there, but it's okay. One of them was bound to happen. Because Gorimondo, I mean, that's like probably the most obvious one to happen, because it's just one of the hardest bosses to rush through without taking damage. But Silly Dillo is definitely one of the easier ones, so I am a bit tilted by that, but it's okay. That was a pretty decent World 5 all around besides that, so can't be too mad. Yeah, that will mean that my speed boost will run out very quickly compared to when it usually should run out, which is right before the penultimate boss. Now we're going back to Waddle Dee Town again. Which, nothing's really being done here. We're just going to go right back in the Launch Star. Warp Star. This isn't Galaxy. I'm playing that later today. Wow, another gotcha machine that we won't use. I didn't mean to do that. Oops. Yeah, for some reason the controls are different in Waddle Dee Town. Because you can press minus to insta-drop an ability inside a level, but it does not work in Waddle Dee Town for some reason. Alright, here we go, World 6. Bunch of really difficult and long levels. Alright, need to make sure I got that lookout Woofy. Woofy, whoever his name is. Oh my. Also getting Needle here, again. Haven't actually seen Needle in a while. It's like 5-3, I believe. These enemies can be super annoying. I don't know why it just takes so long to get up here with Needle in particular. There we go. Alright, there we go. Oh, I missed it. No. I tried to rush it. Oh well. Alright, nice. First hidden Waddle there. Alright. Very cycle-based part here. Getting drill now. Hopefully I can make this. Okay. That was almost very bad. Yeah, the attack buff's already worn off. Not like it really matters. I only really needed it for the first two Woofys anyway. So that's fine. Just get right past these guys. Not gonna hurt them. On the secret passage. And it is faster to go down here. The other way. Take it right under that guy. Hope we don't get hit. Lots of waiting for that one. This one's kind of an auto-scroller, but not really. You just gotta get all the shards before they sink, and they don't sink very fast, so. Hello? Nice. Alright, and now we get to use Water Balloon again. With speed up though, so it's not nearly as miserable to use. Look at him go. What a unit. Alright, we need to break all these meteors before they hit the ground. And without running out of water, of course. It should be all of them. Yep. Nice. Rolled. Alright, nice. Pretty decent start to World 6. Just the stuff with the needle and the shards was a bit rough, but that's okay. Now 6-2 has a lot of really cool strats. We defeat we defeat Frosty with Crash like we did in 4-4. Only it's not nearly as annoying, so we don't have to do a mix. There's just one enemy. However, if he dies, that won't be very good. So I have to get him before he blows up. There's also a lot of stuff we do with ice later in the level that's really sick, like skating on lava. That's always a cool gimmick. And they really just hit you with this music when you spawn back in. Drill under that. Come on. There's a pretty cool skip here coming up. Just gotta jump on top of this thing, and then jump, and then we should be able to get up here. Yep. That skips going up a floor and then backtracking a lot to get to this Waddle Dee, so pretty cool small skip there. All right, Crash should be coming up here. Yep. Got him. Okay, now we just defeat Frosty. Nice, got him. Easy. We gotta get over here for the next piece of a woofy food. Alright, this is where ice really shines. aside from, you know, destroying bosses in like 2 hits. Uh-oh. Okay, my jumps are not working. There's another cool skip here we can do by just jumping off here. And once he gets to here, we just hover to save our lives. And then we get the cone. And with the speed buff, I can just jump all the way over there and have just enough to clear this. Nice. And this is probably the most annoying Waddle Dee in the game. Not because it's difficult, but just because it takes forever. Like, this timer is not an exaggeration. It really does take this long. And you have to go so out of your way to just do all these different things for one Waddle Dee. It's so weird. We get to use this mouthful again. I haven't seen this one in a while. Time it with the music there. Alright. Spawn on top, go down. And now we're gonna get Needle again, so goodbye Ice. You served your purpose. Get this guy, and then we just go back up. And now we're just going to be spamming Needle for the rest of this, basically. There is a ring mouth that we use, but in terms of base abilities, we get hit by a fireball and lose it. And the cool thing about ring is that you can spit to actually stall yourself in the air, which allows you to clear gaps a lot easier. Oh my, okay, that was scary. Right. Now I'm gonna jump from this corner all the way down to the boat. A little skip here to avoid going across this bridge. Whee! Just for safety. Nice. Now the final Waddle Dee is for just clearing every, spinning every single fan, and the last one is all the way back here. Nice. Very nice. Very good 6-2. And now, because it's a Kirby game, we gotta have a factory level, because Kirby just loves factories for some reason, and that is exactly what the next level is gonna be. This one is actually really scary, because there is a hidden Waddle Dee that you can only get for beating the entire level without getting squished by anything. So if I get squished at all, I have to restart the entire level, because it's all Waddle Dees. It's punishing. Hopefully that doesn't happen, though. And of course, it's a factory level in a Kirby game. The music's gonna be a banger. No music yet, but once we enter. All right. All right, I did not feel confident about that cycle at all. Okay, that happened. All right, do not want to destroy that, because there's actually a clip that we can do to break that box. There's actually a bomb right there. We actually broke through the ceiling with Needle. The hitbox is just that good. You can do that with fire as well, which is what we used to do. Enter that secret room for like half a second, and it still counts. All right. This is where not getting squished really matters, because this is a shards room where a lot of them are hidden under things. All right. Should be good. Nice. gonna drop Needle there for fire after this Waddle Dee because we need fire to unlock the area to the next Waddle Dee. That is not what I wanted. I am not trusting that. No way. I'll take that minor time loss if it means not getting squished. Alright. This is an early cycle I can make. As long as my inputs are good. Nice. Made it. Alright. This is probably the most auto-scroller Waddle Dee in the game that isn't just like a mouthful. Because we have to wait for this fuse to get all the way to the cannon. But we can't just get in the cannon and speed it up because the stairs would be covering it. So we have to move. We have to move the stairs with a speed buff to avoid it, the rope from being extinguished. And for some reason, stairs count towards the speed buff. I don't know. I guess because it's not really an auto scroller power up. Alright, well the rest of the level is pretty straightforward from there. That shard section was pretty much like the hardest part. Pretty smooth sailing now. We just spam fire for the rest of this. Ow. Get the last cup of coffee. Gotta perk up. 6 in the morning. Let me get vending machine for the rest. Okay. Guy, and then the last room, pretty much just an auto-scroller. There is a way to kind of skip it by just damage boosting, but I've not even tried that before. You have to go all the way in the background, and it's just a lot. Don't need the vending machine. You do, however, need the cone when that comes up. Here he is. Nice. Very good. That was a good 6-3. Kind of sloppy at the beginning with those opening cycles, but I didn't trust myself to survive that because my needle movement was a bit slow. Alright. I believe we did not get squished. It's marked as question marks just to scare you. I don't know why it does that. Alright, 6-4 is basically just a boss rush. You fight Gorimondo, Silly-Dillo, and Clawroline all in a row. And Clawroline you have to do without taking damage, which is... it's a feat for sure in the rematch, because it does not work the same way as the first fight. Alright. The first two are not that bad. We just use Wild Hammer to beat them up. No attack buff, though, so it'll be a bit slower. But I do not think the attack buff would have lasted long enough to get here anyways. Alright. Avoid that figure there. Waddle Dee for getting the secret passage. Wow, okay. Here's Gorimondo. Nowhere near as stressful as he used to be. Very delayed hit. Oh my god. Yeah, we don't really have to worry about damage against these guys, thankfully. There he goes. The only one we have to worry about damage for is the cat. Which is ironic, because Gorimondo and Silly-Dillo were the ones I took damage on. Their car, speed up with car, very fast. And we can actually do a little skip here, so we get it. Nice. Just skip that whole U-turn section. All right, that's one down. Silly Dillo's not too bad either. The only requirement is just to beat him in under a certain time, which should be free. Wow, he beat me to it. That's so mean. This might take a while. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted. Oh my god. Ah, this is not good actually. Alright, this should do it. That should beat him in the time limit. I'm pretty sure I was under a minute, and it's like a minute 30 or so to beat him, so we should be fine. If not, then I'm scared. Okay, we're good. Yeah. That would have been a very big time loss if I did not do that in 1:30. Alright, now the real boss is coming up. Very concerned about this one. Luckily we get lots of healing beforehand, even though we have to not take damage. Hello. Alright, here we go. I am going to fight her with Wild Hammer, because that does the most damage I possibly can in this situation. Basically what I need to do is do a dodge roll right as she does her shockwave attack. If I do it too early, I will get hit, so see what happens. Alright, just doing it again, I guess. Nice! Got her, okay, good. Very good. Now we go back for Tornado because Tornado is fast. Very lucky that we have Tornado here. Alright. Now the rest is just the roller coaster. Auto-scroller of all auto-scrollers. We do have to hit 5 switches to spawn the last Waddle Dee, but that's pretty much it. Alright, if I actually missed that, that would have been very bad. Thankfully, you can redo this section without having to retry the whole level, but it would have still been a pretty big time loss. Alright. That's it for 6-4. I'm very glad I got through that fight first try without taking damage, because that, well, would have been the second biggest time loss of the whole run. The first biggest time loss is coming up in this level because it is right at the very end, and if I somehow manage to do it, then that's like maybe 5 minutes lost. The next level is extremely long. It's probably the longest in the game. And the very last Waddle Dee is to, there's a cone mouth at the very end, and if you fall in the lava, you don't get the Waddle Dee. So you have to just finish the level without falling in the lava. So if I fall in, then that's the whole level I gotta redo. So make sure that doesn't happen. There are a lot of cool skips in this level though. Mainly at 8%, you can do a bunch of hammer super jumps to just skip a bunch of sections, but the main thing for all Waddle Dees is being able to skip a whole room just with Tornado, which is really nice. Very quiet here before we get another one of the best songs in the game. Kirby is waving goodbye. He's beginning his descent. Alright. Kill all these guys. tornado back, and we go. There's Waddle for killing all these guys in the beginning, so I had to do that. Now we just completely skip this because good thing about mouthfuls is that they respawn if you completely skip one, just like the light bulb did. So we can just get one right here. Okay. All right, we go up and we just go in here. Okay, I was expecting to have more speed, whatever. Yeah, this is the room that we completely skip. Normally we have to go like all the way around and then up in the back, but we can just use tornado and then climb all the way up here. Hopefully I don't get hit by this guy. Okay. Nice. Easy. Good start. Good start. Completely skip the vending machine here because we do not need it. Okay. Gonna do another skip here with the extra tornado speed. Nice. Yeah, a lot. Okay, hello. Lots of skips in this level. Trigger this fight here, and then just get this wanted poster and chase the guy off. Goodbye. Alright, this room, can't really skip in all Waddle Dees because there is a wanted poster at the very end of it, so we do have to go the normal way. Alright, got that. Now the camera slowly turns when we get the ring mouth to show us where we need to go. Nice. Okay. And now I gotta make sure to get Crash right before I leave the room. Because Crash is very important for the next boss fight that we get. Okay. And now it's really important to keep Crash here because if I accidentally use it, then I gotta go all the way back to Waddle Dee Town to get it again. So I just gotta not press Y. Except for here where I'm gonna drop it just so I can beat these enemies without attacking, basically. I'm going to take my time here before grabbing this, just to make sure the prompt shows up. Final glider section. Some very epic music. You hit pretty much every fan here, just to spawn the Waddle Dee. Oh my god, okay. Okay, I'm very glad that spawned. I'm actually surprised that actually spawned considering I got hit there, but we're good. Now I just gotta make it through this without using Crash and without falling in the lava. How hard can that be? My thumb is as far away from the Y button as it can be. Only time I'm gonna press it is when I'm puffing in the air. like there. Okay. Get the cone. Don't fall in the lava. I have to wait a bit here for these platforms to respawn. Okay, almost there. Speed buff is running out just in time. Jeez. I'm gonna wait a bit because of that. Oh my. Okay. That was as close as it possibly could have been. Okay, we're good. Alright. Well, not having the speed buff for the boss does kind of suck because there is a very fast hit that I can get. That is a lot easier with the speed buff, but I'm pretty sure it's still possible without it. I just need to make sure to time it right. Yeah, forego DDD. DDD rematch, and he's wearing a mask. When has that ever happened in Kirby? Yeah, he basically just turned into a wild animal and starts running around doing crazy stuff. And we use Crash in the first phase to just completely deplete his health bar, and then we use Wild Hammer for the next couple hits. Hopefully it goes well, because this can be choked very easily. And if I get this, I will be perfect on all bosses except Gorimondo and Solidolo. Which one of those was expected, honestly. Alright, here we go. Yeah, no speed buff here is weird. It does make the beginning a bit scarier as well because DD is very fast when he swings his hammers at the beginning. That's why I'm going to move to the right when I'm charging up the Crash. And this is where we will use our attack buff. I'm going to use it right before entering the fight so I have as much time as possible for all the remaining bosses. Okay, that's first phase down. Now the hard part. Okay, good start. Yes, got him, nice. Okay, now that DD is done, we move on to Lab Discoverer, which is where all the final bosses await. And coming up right now is probably the hardest skip in the entire game, at least for me. If I miss it, it's not that big of a deal. I just have to fight Leongar. But basically, this skip saves 45 seconds and involves a hammer super jump, which is much harder with Wild Hammer because it doesn't have as easy of a visual cue because the normal hammer's flat. This one has a tip. Basically, I need to get perfect height so I clip out of the battlefield and I can just completely skip the fight and enter the Fecto Forgo fight. If it doesn't happen, then I just have to fight Leon. Not that big of a deal. It's a pretty quick fight. The main time save just comes from all the cutscenes afterward. But I am really hoping I get this. So. And right here, we can just skip this horde of enemies that apparently we're supposed to fight. But oh, that's probably not enough. Yeah. If I get stuck in the ceiling like that, it's not enough. But I at least got to show the hammer super jump to some extent, so I'm glad about that. It could have been worse. I could have just not gotten it at all. So. Okay, wow. He's really beating me up. Jeez. Yeah, this fight can be really obnoxious because he just moves all over the place. There's second phase. His attacks get a lot easier to parry when he's in the second phase, oddly enough. Like here. And that should be it. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, that's Leon. I got to show off at least part of the skip and the fight, I guess. It's a shame I didn't get the full thing because I really did want to, but it is like one of the hardest skips, so I'm not too upset that I only got about halfway. Basically, what would happen is I clip all the way out, and I have to circle around the battlefield, and then I'm able to go through the door that I'm about to go through right now, because it's actually a floor below where you fight Leon. So it is there the whole time. The loading zone is there. And now we enter this fight, which is literally just 3 hammer swings. It is the easiest boss in the game. It's very gross. Thankfully, we get it over with quick. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, unfortunately, because I missed Leon skip, I'm not going to have much attack boost left for the final boss, Fecto Elphalus. I am going to be using Ice, the very OP Ice strat. It would be doing a lot more damage later on in the fight, which is actually where it's more important. But sadly, I won't have much attack boost left by the time we even get to it. And the beginning of the boss is pretty much an auto-scroller, so we're just going to be waiting a while. But it's fine. A lot of this boss is an auto-scroller, actually. Like, I can literally just stand here and hold shield, and you just gotta wait like 2 full cycles before I can do anything. So it's just a waste of attack buff, sadly. Very cool final boss. It's just kind of a lame start. Alright, here we go. And the attacks that Fecto Elphalus does is RNG as well. So I can just completely, okay, that's pretty good. Ideally, I'd want him to just throw out a bunch of spears like he did last time. Okay, and he went off screen. That is what you don't want to happen, because now he's just going to stall and do this again. So yeah, we're probably going to run out of attack buff before I even start second phase, unfortunately. Yeah, he's going away again. This is what sucks about this fight being RNG. Alright. Well, not going to have much attack buff left for second phase, so he's probably going to go into the background multiple times again. This part is also an auto-scroller. I can just hold shield and be fine against all of these, because Ice is completely invulnerable when you're guarding. Even to this thing. Now I have to wait through all this. He's going to jump into the air and make duplicate clones of himself. The way I can tell which one is real is by the shadow. Whichever one has the shadow is the real one. Come on. That was really close. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, he actually gave me really good RNG there. He didn't jump into the background. That is kind of shocking. All right, well, that's Fecto Elphalus, but we're not done quite yet. Spin a lot to free Elphalin, and that's not quite the finale. I hope you like trucks, because this is probably the craziest ending to a Kirby game I've seen, at least. Just become a giant truck, and you hold Y to the finish. Yeah, this is looking like about 245, which was my estimate. So, not too surprised that some of the stuff in this run went horrible, because all Waddle Dees, like I said many times, very punishing category. It was actually kind of a risk just submitting this, but I'm glad I got to show it off since we did any % last time. Yeah, it's probably my favorite category, despite how frustrating it can be. 100% is cool too. All the categories in this game are cool. Any % is a bit boring for my taste, because you just use fire most of the time, but all Waddle Dees just has so much more variety. As annoying as the bosses can be, It is pretty fun. Yeah, just riding to the end. There's gonna be lots of quick time events, and Kirby's gonna be screaming a lot. Alright. Lots of mashing incoming as well. I've been awake for like 24 hours, I swear. I'm getting so much sleep after this. Nice. Alright, here we go. We just have to press B once for this one. Alright, time to scream. Once this happens, I guess. Alright, and time is coming up when I finish the quick time event and I crash into Elfless and it just completely disappears off screen. So I will say time when time. And time. Oh man, that was an adventure for sure. Oh god, I was really nervous about that early game after that Gorimondo stuff happened, and then messing up Florina really sucked because I was not used to being that bad at that ice strat, but I'm glad that I did start to play a lot better as the run went on. World 4 especially I was happy about, because that is, in my opinion, the hardest part of the run and the most punishing. So I'm glad I got to do all that first try. Yeah, this game's great. There's a Kirby speedrunning Discord for just all Kirby games, Forgotten Land included. Shoutouts to Mario Max for being insanely cracked at this category. He has the world record with, I believe, a 225 on 1P and a 224 with 2P, which is nuts. YP's a 237, which at the time was world record. But yeah, Mario Max is crazy. I don't really know if he's running this game too much. Shoutouts to Tech. He was here with me since midnight. He's the GOAT. I have been awake for so long. But I'm actually not done for today. I'm done for now. We're going to see Benny play Kirby's Epic Yarn after this. Oh yeah, Elflin just died. Oh well. After this, I will be back at around noon for with Hex speedruns. We're gonna be commentating the first 3 hours of the Sonic Adventure 2 LTA. So tune in for that. It's probably gonna be my personal favorite event of PACE. And later tonight, me and a bunch of other Galaxy runners are gonna be doing a relay of Galaxy 1 and 2 any% back-to-back. 3 teams, 2 games. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I'm glad we got this in twice in a row. any% and all Waddle Dees. Yeah, enjoy Epic Yarn and the rest of PACE. I need to go sleep. Bye-bye.